ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kevin Jackwitz. Welcome to the Kaged match, and sorry I'm late on a couple of things here. I spent last week with some friends, some very much needed, socializing that I haven't done enough of lately. I've been so damn busy with everything. So, to get into SmackDown, that's what we're checking out, and this is for 10/11/19. This is also the first round of the draft for WWE. So, we had a draft earlier this year, then they threw in this bullshit rule that everybody hated that made no sense. It basically did away with the draft. Now we have a draft again. I don't know. So there was a WWE press conference earlier in the day, and basically all it did was announce two matches for Crown Jewel, which was Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez and Braun Strowman versus Tyson Fury. All of those guys came out, they made an appearance, some of them talked, some of them didn't. And really not that big of a deal because, like I said, Crown Jewel is just WWE whoring themselves out every year. For SmackDown, you start out right away with Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. The winner determines which brand is going to get the first pick in the draft. So, they have a match for a little bit. Bray Wyatt comes out, attacks Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns disappears. Seth Rollins wins via disqualification. So Raw gets the first pick. Stephanie McMahon promo is next and saying the first people who are going to what brand. You start out with Becky Lynch to Raw. Roman Reigns to SmackDown. The OC to Raw, which is all three of them. Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and AJ Styles. Bray Wyatt to SmackDown and Drew McIntyre to Raw. I think Drew McIntyre should be a first-round draft pick. Glad he got that. Then you get Baron Corbin, who cuts a promo that I didn't give a shit about. He's got a match coming up with Chad Gable now. They're calling him Shorty Gable now, which is not just insulting, but stupid. I'm still going to call him Chad Gable. And before the match started, there was a little bit with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman from Fox Sports, and they were commenting on wrestling, which clearly they know nothing about. So, Stephanie McMahon, after that match that I really was not interested in, Baron Corbin won it. You find out that Randy Orton is now going to Raw. He was on SmackDown. So far, he's the only one actually changing brand. Sasha Banks to SmackDown. That's new. Ricochet to Raw. Braun Strowman to SmackDown. And Bobby Lashley to Raw. So, Strowman is now on SmackDown. Okay, we kind of expected that with Fox. After that, Brock Lesnar comes out with Paul Heyman. They're kind of all recapping the Rey Mysterio, Lesnar, Velasquez thing. And then Rey Mysterio comes out with Cain Velasquez, and really nothing happened there. So, they just made an appearance. New Day does a little promo with some women from Susan G. Komen that have had breast cancer. So, it's a good thing. That's as much as you can say about it. They're basically promos, but they're promos for a good thing. So, there you go. Then you get the New Day versus the OC. This, I didn't know what to expect, honestly, because OC haven't really been doing that great. But then again, New Day haven't either. Honestly, they've kind of been MIA, to be honest. So it was a decent match. New Day picks up the win. So it looks like, Kofi's going back to his New Day gimmick, and that's where they're at for right now. Stephanie McMahon cuts the next promo talking about the draft. Alexa Bliss goes to Raw. Lacey Evans is going to SmackDown. I was kind of surprised about that because Lacey Evans sucks. I'm sure Vince McMahon had some input there. Kevin Owens to Raw, which I really like. The Revival to SmackDown, and Natalya to Raw. After that, they cut to commercial, and they come back with the next promo for the draft right away. So you get Viking Raiders to Raw, Lucha House Party to SmackDown, Nikki Cross to Raw, Heavy Machinery to SmackDown, and Street Profits to Raw. I do like the fact that Street Profits are finally going to have a program on Raw. It's about time. So after that, you have Charlotte versus Bayley. This was interesting because Bayley comes out. She's got a new look. She's got black hair. It's shorter. Her Bayley buddies come up, and then she grabs something and like stabs all of them, and they all go down. So she's killing her Bayley buddies. Kids are crying in the audience. Charlotte and Bayley, the match was fine. Nothing overly dramatic, honestly, except for the end, which was Bayley actually beat Charlotte. And then I found out why, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. They're sending Charlotte to Raw. They got to keep the SmackDown belt on SmackDown. They give it back to Bayley. There you go. But it was cool because somebody finally beat Charlotte fair and square. Well, sort of. She used heel tactics. Let me go ahead and adjust my notes here because there was a lot of them. So that's where they cut the show, with Bayley standing tall at the end. She grabs a microphone. She says, "Hey bitches, screw you all. Heel Bayley, fade to black." There's a lot that got in the way of SmackDown and Raw, since it's the day after Raw now. And that was all the time spent, telling everybody who's going where. It's really drawn out. There was a lot of segments of that. And, Roman Reigns, he just, disappears when Bray Wyatt just starts attacking his friend. Baron Corbin, Chad Gable, I really didn't care about. So, honestly, this was not the best episode of SmackDown I've seen lately. Especially for Fox, that's not good news. I think that there may be a clash of styles happening, and they've got to get that figured out, because whatever it is, obviously the draft had a big part to play in this episode, but that only goes so far. They've really got to start up in their game. So as far as this episode stands, it was okay. It wasn't even good in my opinion. It was just okay. It was enough to keep me watching, essentially. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10 because there was just way too much time sucked up with shit people don't care about. Like, you just had a draft earlier this year. So, okay, now we've got half the roster. We're going to continue that on Raw. But as far as piecing together a show, they've got to get that figured out. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's where I'm at. Let me know what you think in the comments. My name is Kevin Jackwitz, Kaged Nation, out.